Hello. Hello. Good morning, students. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Students, I was having some work, so that's why class shifted to fourth hour. I was having some class. Students, where we stopped in the previous class? Yesterday, we were discussing about Selenium framework with Python, isn't it? Okay, now we'll come back to our actual syllabus. That is, so we are discussing about the GUI, isn't it? Students, tell me what is the module that we are using to create the GUI? Hello? Hello? Students, tell me what is the module that we have used to create GUI?
Tkinter, sir.
Tkinter. Okay. So what the Tkinter will do? First, what is the first step that we have to do with the Tkinter? First, we have to import the Tkinter module. That is the first thing. Then we need to decide. We need to specify the context where you want to create the GUI. So for that, one base window is required. So we have to create that base window, which is nothing but creating an object of Tkinter, so that it will create one window in which we can create the GUI elements. Okay, students, now see, we are intended in doing one small, module, in developing one small module. Say for example, you want to create one registration form. So what are the basic elements that makes an registration form? So name of the candidate, first name, last name, then age, gender, then create login password. Okay, all those things. Okay, by using that, now we are supposed to create one GUI. So that GUI, yes. So the purpose of that GUI is to create a login registration form. So let us assume we have a portal. So in that portal, you are providing one functionality. So wherein using that, the new users can register for your portal. That means they can register as users. So once they register as users, they will get username and password. Using that later, they can log in into the portal. So that's what the requirement. Now you are supposed to create one registration form with minimum elements such as first name, last name, age, gender. Then you will be collecting the email address. Then what else? Username and the password. So if you assume that the email ID itself is the username, then you can ask them to enter the password. What password they want for the login that they should enter. Then you have to confirm. Okay, that means for that, two buttons you have to provide. See, students, here we are intended in just creating the GUI. Okay, we are not intended at verifying. Okay, we are not doing any verification. That means we are not doing any validation. Just we are making an attempt to create the GUI. Now you create one GUI. So what are the elements you may have to create? Text, a label. Say for example, so enter first name, that's a label. So beside that there will be a text box. So you have to create text box. then label. Then for selecting the gender, you can create radio button. Then for age, you can create a drop down button, or you can just create an text box with 2 character width. You can create a text box with 2 character width, that is fine, or else you can create one drop down box for that one also. So then for entering the email, normal text box is enough. Then what else you need? Ultimately, you need to create a button, that is registration button. Students, try to create one registration form. Today, try to create one registration form wherein the user will fill. Okay, I'll post the problem statement. So you create one GUI. Later in lab session, you can apply Selenium for that. To validate, you can apply Selenium, so that whatever you have learned in Selenium will not become waste. So here using tkinter, we will be creating the GUI. Then we apply Selenium for validation, that is for testing. So usually how we do testing? Manually we do the testing. But in this case, what we do? We use Selenium automation framework, using which we do the validation. Students, what is the purpose of doing the automated validation? That is automation, software automation. That means to reduce the user time, we do automation. Say for example, for one form, you assume that there are 10 sets of user input. That means 10 times manually user has to enter the data. Then you need to prepare a report, isn't it? So first of all, entering 10 times, one time, second time, third time, like that, 10 times he has to wait. Lot of time is incurred. Then upon that, he has to prepare a report manually. Now these two things can be automated. These two things can be automated. Okay, so the advantage is, so if you are doing especially regression, partial regression testing or full regression testing, so that is especially when you go for iteration based software development. That is when you go for iterative development, you'll be releasing the softwares in terms of versions. So version 1, version 1.1, version 1.2, or something like that, or version 1, version 2, version 3, like that. So that means frequently you'll be having the software releases. So every time manually lot of data you may have to enter. Being a test engineer, you have to enter a lot of test data manually, which consumes lot of testers time. So therefore, what is the output of that? So the release of the software will get delayed. So if you go with iterative model, especially where the releases are very frequent, then it is better to go with software automation. That is, you need to automate the testing procedures. Say, students, what is software automation that you need to understand? Say, for example, you have developed an application. Let us call it as application A. You have developed some application. So you have a project. Say, for example, MIS system, management information system. That is a software that you have developed. I will call it as project A. Now you want to test that project A. So what I am telling you is you develop one automation framework for that. So that means you are going to develop one more project using Selenium framework, whose purpose is to automate the testing process of project A. That means to automate one project, you are creating one more project, and you are calling it as testing framework. You are building the testing framework using which you can automate the testing procedure of project A. Okay, like that you need to understand. So whatever that you are developing using Selenium, that acts as another software which you will use to automate the testing procedures. To automate the testing procedures. Students, here in Selenium, So the very important thing that you need to understand is, see, whenever you go to any interview, sometimes they'll give you the system and they'll ask you to build the Selenium framework. That means, so for that, what are all the prerequisites that are there? Maybe downloading the PyCharm or any IDE. Say, for example, if you are using Eclipse IDE, you need to download the Eclipse IDE. If you are using PyCharm, you need to download the PyCharm. If at all any modules are required, you need to check out whether the modules are inbuilt or you need to download the modules. So all such configuration you need to do. Then, so then you need to download the browser exe files. Say, for example, how you launch Chrome browser unless you have that exe file stored in your local system. So all those things you need to set up and then you need to demonstrate, see the browser is opening. So I have configured the Selenium so that I can start now. I can start with automation process. Okay, so building the Selenium framework means first you need to build the environment using which you can test the application. That environment includes downloading the IDE and necessary modules, along with the browser related exe files. So first you set up all those things. Then if you are able to open the browser using Selenium code, so that means your framework is ready. Now you can start with your actual testing process. So when you start with actual testing process, usually what we do, you'll target one particular application. So you will try to locate the HTML elements. Okay, you should be able to locate the HTML elements. For that, the various techniques are there. You can use CSS, you can use XPath, isn't it? See, when you are using when you are using HTML and JavaScript, so there, how you are locating the elements? By using get element by ID, isn't it? So DOM address, how you are fetching the DOM address? By using get element by ID, get element by name, get element by class, and so on. Similarly, here also some similar techniques using which you can find out its XPath. Okay, once you fetch the XPath, then it becomes easy for you to do the validation part. Okay, because the sole purpose of Selenium is to do the validation. So what kind of validation? So functional, actually you will be performing functional testing. So functional testing means whatever the functionalities that are implemented using GUI, that is graphical user interfaces, that can be tested. Okay, that can be tested without any user intervention. So that process can be automated. So hence we call it as software automation. So that is the process what you are going to do there. Okay, students. Students, you got an idea why you learned Selenium, why you are made to learn Selenium? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So I think you all know what is the use.
Sir, screen is not visible.
Huh? Yeah, actually I'm not.
Share screen. Share screen, sir.
So I say I'm not giving any presentation with screen. No issue.
Okay.
I'm not giving any presentation. So just I am explaining you. So why you learn Selenium and what is its use? Okay. Then another thing, what are all the things that you can do with Selenium? Okay, students here, tell me, did you use any dependencies there? Did they show any dependency files there in Selenium workshop? No, right? Did they tell anything about Maven? Hello? Hello, students? So you should answer. Did they tell anything about Maven tool? See, what are all the things you can see here? First of all, you need to understand what is Selenium. So now you came to know. So Selenium is a framework which is used for developing automation framework for testing. Okay, that is Selenium. Then you should also know what are all the other tools that can be combined along with Selenium. For example, TestNG. TestNG is one framework. So what kind of framework it is means? It is a report generation framework. Say using TestNG, you can automate that test report generation process. So yesterday itself I told test report generation process means when you run, so say for example you are running 100 test cases. Let us assume, okay, you are running 100 test cases. Among 100 test cases are test cases, 86 have executed successfully and remaining 14 have resulted in some errors. Okay, now you want to show that graphically. That so what are the total number of test cases? Then what is the name of each test case? Then whether it is successfully executed or not. That is the status of the test, whether it is successful or failed. So that can be, so that process that is that can be shown graphically by using TestNG. Okay, then what other tools can be used is you can link Excel, Microsoft Excel with Selenium, so that see in with Excel actually what you are supposed to do. First you are supposed to generate the test data. Say for example, you want to test one login form. So what are all the fields of the login form? Login form includes username, password, then submit button or OK button. Okay, so then you have to store the test. Say for example, the first row contains first test case. So first test case means it contains what is the username and the password. Okay, so it will take one record, means if it is fetching one record means it is taking one set of test data from Excel and passing it to Selenium for testing. Then it will execute, that is called as one test. Okay, one run. So in the second iteration it will take second row. So second row represents another set of test data to check your login form. Okay, it will check and it will document whether the test is fail or success. Then it will go to the third row in the Excel sheet. It will take another set of test data to check the login form, like that. So it will repeat until it covers testing all the test data that you have specified in Excel sheet. Okay, that is one thing. So Selenium can do that thing. So if you do not store the test data in the Excel file, then what you are supposed to do? So you have a few other options. You can save it in CSV file, you can save it in XML, or you can save it in Excel file. So if you do not store it in any of these files, then what is the another alternative is, then you have to specify it in your source code itself. In your source code itself, you need to specify what is the username, what is the password. So that is not a good practice, because you can specify only one set of data. If you want to pass another set of data, then you should go to the source code and edit and pass another set of test data, another set of username and password. Then you run the test. So that is time consuming. So that's why always we rely on Excel sheet, where we prepare the test, all the test data, and we store it in the form of Excel sheet, and we link that Excel sheet with a script, that is the Selenium script, which will take input from the Excel sheet, run the test case, then using TestNG or test complete, prepare the test report. Okay, so like that it works. Then apart from all these things, there is something called as version management. Okay, so version management means, say for example, so as the time progresses, okay, So you'll keep changing the versions of the software. Say for example, initially you may start with Python 3.2, then you may want to upgrade it to Python 3.5, then Python 3.8.5, and like that. So each time manually you cannot download the software and update it. Okay, so when you go with dependencies, so there is a build tool called as a Maven. So Maven is a build tool. So what is the meaning of that build tool? So when you go with that Maven, there is a file called web.xml. In that, see, for each of the tool there will be something called as dependencies. Okay, say for example, for test ng, I want to download the dependencies. Then I need to go to the portal of test ng. There I need to download. I can copy the tags, dependency tags. We call it as dependency tags. Then copy there and put it in your web.xml. Okay, so it will only automatically download whatever the softwares that you want. Say for example, so similarly for Python also you can do. Say for example, you have Python 3.5, you want to upgrade it to Python 3.8.5. You just copy that XML tags from a particular portal and you store it in web.xml. So automatically it will start downloading Python 3.8.5. So that means your softwares are automatically getting updated with the help of that dependency tags. Students, you can explore in the Google what are dependencies. Okay, so that I have done with Java. Okay, so Java and Selenium that I have done. In Python I don't know how to do that. Okay, so I think you have the email IDs of all your resource persons, isn't it? You can just put one mail to them. So how to go ahead with the dependencies in Python and Selenium. Okay, so just they'll guide you, or you can see one YouTube video for that. Okay, so remember students, the concept of dependencies is very very powerful and very yet very simple. Okay, if you go with that, you need not upgrade your software manually. Just if you are pasting the XML tags, it will only upgrade all the softwares that you need. Say for example, you need some n number of softwares for your application. Okay, so all the softwares can be updated at the same time just by copying the XML tags to that web.xml. Okay, it acts as a configuration file. It will maintain the versions of all the softwares required for your project. Okay, students, then another thing. So now you are learning Python. So along with that, one add-on module also you are learning. That is, you are learning Selenium framework. So Selenium framework, along with that you are learning tkinter. So you can use tkinter to learn how to create the GUI. Then using the Selenium framework, you can learn how to automate the testing process. Then when you go to the higher semester further, there is an elective subject, that is software testing. So if you take that as an elective, then really it makes some sense, because here you are learning Selenium. Then further, if you continue with that elective software testing, then it becomes a complete package for you. Okay, that it is just like getting specialized in some particular area. So the advantage with Selenium here is you are learning both development and testing. So development in the sense, so you are learning the new framework. See, to test one application, you have to develop one more application, which we call it as framework. Okay, testing framework. You are developing the testing framework, which is nothing but a development task, but actually you are performing testing. Then as an add-on to that, further if you take that elective software testing, so you can get more idea about that testing domain as well. So in that sense, so Python is very useful for you students. Okay, and further it is not only limited to testing. So in the coming semesters ahead, You also have data analytics and machine learning. Because there also once again you will be using Python. So there you will learn few more modules, just like Peak Inter, just like how you learned Selenium. So you'll be learning few more frameworks and modules in the coming semesters. So that means still your Python journey is there. Okay. So what is the foundation for that? The data structures. So whatever the data structures that are there in this semester, that forms the foundation for you to learn any other modules or frameworks. So that is the reason why initially even your workshop started with the data structures. First they gave an overview about the data structures, few examples, they showed you few examples, then only they started with software testing and Selenium coding. Students, now I'll create one assignment for you. So you need to create the GUI. You need to create the GUI. Tomorrow we'll see developing the Selenium testing process for that. Now I'll create the assignment. Students, using Peak Inter, you design one registration form. Before that, I'll take the attendance. Students, answer for the attendance. USN 1,
Present, sir.
2, 2, 3,
Present, sir.
4,
Yes, sir.
5. Anu, 6, 6. Arbaz, 7,
Present, sir.
8,
Present, sir.
9,
Present, sir.
10. Bhargavi, 11,
Present, sir.
12,
Present, sir.
13,
Present, sir.
14,
Present, sir.
16,
Present, sir.
17,
Present, sir.
18,
Present, sir.
19,
Present, sir.
20. Guria Kumari, 21,
Present, sir.
Sir, 20 present.
22. Yes, 22. Junjar, 23,
Present, sir.
24. Kishore, 25,
Yes, sir.
26,
Present, sir.
27,
Yes, sir.
28,
Present, sir.
29, 30.
Present, sir.
Now TD series, USN 2,
Present, sir.
3,
Present, sir.
4,
Present, sir.
5, Pawan, 6,
6 present, sir.
7,
Present, sir.
8,
Present, sir.
9,
Present, sir.
10,
Present, sir.
11,
Yes, sir.
12,
Present, sir.
13,
Present, sir.
14.
14
Savita,
present, sir.
16,
Present, sir.
17,
Yes, sir.
18,
Present, sir.
19,
Present, sir.
20,
Present, sir.
21,
Present, sir.
22,
Present, sir.
23.
Present, sir. Sir,
Students,
BY05 present, sir.
BY05.
07. Yes, sir.
Anybody else?
Sir, 29 present, sir. BY 29.
29. Students, now I'll create one assignment and I'll specify what are all the elements that must be there. So you need to create one GUI for that. Okay, you can start writing the program using tkinter to create a login registration form. So using whatever the elements that we have learned already. We have learned label, text box, checkbox or radio button, drop down box, and the submit or the OK button. So these many things are required. So now you can start with that. I'll post the assignment. 2 minutes. Students, I have created the assignment. Okay, you can check your mail. I've created the assignment. You can check your mail. and you can send your code with output, okay, screenshot and the source code to the assignment. You can attach it. That's all for today's class. 1 minute, there is a message. Okay. Okay, students, you can start writing the program.